Hello everyone, this is the story of what is Naruto was drawn to Hinata'S vulnerability at Konoha High School. Welcome freshmen. Sakura entered the high school building. She had no idea what she was doing. She was finally at the high school. That's all she knew. She survived middle school and now she has to survive high school. She looked at all the people in the building that was much more older than her and much more knowledgeable of the building. She came up to one of the older kids. "Excuse me," she asked shyly. The older boy was blonde and very attractive. He looked down at the pink-haired freshman. "Yeah, what do you want, freshman?" I was wondering if you can lead to Mr. Iruka's classroom. He's supposed to be teaching on the second floor this year, I hear." The blonde smiled, looking at Sakura up and down. "You're real cute. Sure, I'll show ya. I know old man Iruka." Sakura smiled. "He seems very nice." Sakura thought, "I used to have him when I was your age. Listen, go upstairs and take a left, go to the classroom with a blue door. That's his room this year." "Oh, thank you." Sakura beamed. "Hey, what's your name, cutie pie?" the blonde asked. "Sakura, I have to go before I'm late, so thank you." She took off, but the blonde grabbed her arm. "What's the rush, sweetie?" Sakura pulled her arm away. He was a lot stronger. She couldn't get away from his grasp. "Hey, let go. I need to be going. Come on, I'll take you for a ride." Sakura pulled as hard as she could. "Let go of me." Suddenly someone hit the blonde boy from the back and he fell to the floor. Her hero had a blue short-sleeved turtleneck. He had black hair and a mean onyx eyes. Sakura stared at her hero fascinated. She gripped the books in her arm. The blonde boy didn't move. He seemed paralyzed. The black-haired boy must have struck him in his neck at a vulnerable spot. "Sakura, let's go," the boy said, making his way up the stairs. Sakura nodded. "Yes, Sasuke." She glanced at the blonde boy who was still knocked out. Then followed Sasuke up the stairs. "Welcome to high school. About time you get here," Iruka said to his classroom. "I will be teaching you your math and English. You all have different teachers for other subjects," he said merrily, writing his name on the board. "No more playgrounds for you." Naruto jumped up. They got rid of recess in middle school. Iruka scratched his head. "Those idiots. Why are they trying to deprive you all of fun?" The whole class shrugged. Iruka continued. "Well, anyway, any time now, the announcements will come on. It's homeroom, so I'll let you do anything. As long as you don't get out of control, but before that, any questions about high school?" Ino raised her hand. Iruka motioned for her to ask her question. "Well, I was just wondering, is PE?" Ino grinned, hoping it was a yes. Iruka looked blankly. "Since Kakashi is teaching PE, I think so." He looked through his teacher helper book thing. "Yeah, it is. But boys and girls have different locker rooms." He laughed. Well, he was the only one laughing. The rest of the class stared at him. "Ahem, at any rate, Kakashi will be your gym teacher. He's very nice. I'm sure you'll enjoy him. Any other questions before we get to homeroom?" All was silent. "Okay then, do whatever it is you do." Naruto and the gang were in a circle talking. "Thanks for saving me this morning, Sasuke." Sakura cooed. Naruto looked at them. "What happened to you, Sakura?" Naruto said, sick with worry. "Well, this older kid, I don't know if he was a junior or a senior. He was bothering me. I just asked him for directions." "I swear," Sakura said casually. "Who is he? Point him out to me. I'll kick his butt." Sakura rolled her eyes. Naruto, calm down. He's probably in the nurse's office. Sakura turned to Sasuke. "How do you like high school so far, Sasuke?" He grunted. "I think that was I don't care much for it." Grunt. That's when Ino came over. "Sasuke dear." She sat cuddled beside him. "Isn't the morning beautiful?" She crossed her legs, showing them off. She was wearing a short leather black skirt and a purple sleeveless top. Sakura got mad and decided it was insult time. "So your mother let you out of the house with that on?" Ino looked at Sakura, who had a pink dress with cherry blossoms decorated on it. She snorted. "Your mother must have dressed you. Coming to the first day of high school with that baby dress on. Please grow up." She clung to Sasuke's arm. Naruto looked at Ino. "Stop making fun of Sakura's dress. I think it's pretty." Sakura blushed. "Thanks, Naruto." Naruto smiled childishly. So are you two finally a couple? Ino asked. No, Sakura yelled, making the whole class look at her strangely. Naruto blushed and whispered, not yet. Ino smiled slyly. I see. Sasuke shook Ino off his arm. Well, I got to go, kiddies. I have matters to attend to. I want to be class president. And I have tea. Oh, get working now if I want to be freshman queen. Made it up. She turned away from the group with a little attitude. Sakura growled. I'm going to be freshman queen and class president. Naruto perked his ears. You can do it, Sakura. I know you can. By the end of the year you'll be both. Sasuke, will you be the freshman king if I try? He glared and looked into Sokka's bright green pleading eyes. He grunted. That was a grunt that said, I don't know. Sakura smiled. I don't know who could be my second choice. Naruto pointed to himself. Sakura tried to ignore him by thinking. Listen. Iruka yelled over the chattering crowd of freshmen. The crowd stopped and looked. The bell's getting ready to ring. Iruka said simply. Meet your gym teacher. Sakura walked with a fast pace down the high school hallways. It was still her first day. So far so good. Homeroom was pretty good if it wasn't for special blonde girl. She was heading to science. Sakura wondered who would be in her class that she'd recognized. I hope Sasuke-kun is there. I want to be as close to him as possible. It's been since elementary school that I've had this crush on him. She smiled brightly. Ping in the room she saw a lady with long black hair with dark blue highlights. The lady was looking out of the window. Sakura walked in the quiet classroom. She only saw a few people she knew. Shikamaru, Neji, Hinata, and that was it. She wasn't familiar with the rest. The rest was sophomores. Sakura thought for a minute. It might be a fast class for gifted people. Sakura smiled and sat beside the only female she knew, Hinata. Sakura-chan. Hinata softly said, you're in my class again. Sakura kept smiling and rolled her eyes in a playful way. Yeah, I guess so. So, who else do you have? Hinata handed the curious Sakura her schedule. Sakura looked carefully, examining Hinata's to hers. Hey, you have gym with me. Hinata released a sigh of joy. I'm glad. I thought I was going to have to face gym alone. Me too. I didn't want to be alone for gym. I hope the others will be there also. You also have math and ninja classes with me. Hinata nodded. Sakura looked past Hinata. Neji was beside Hinata. Hey Neji. Sakura waved to him. Neji looked over to the feminine voice that was calling him. Hey Sakura. He replied quickly. Put the folder up to face to hide it. Sakura's sweat dropped. Shy aren't we? The tardy bell rang and the black-haired woman stood in front of the class. All right, listen up. The woman was tall and she had dark skin. She had a blue dress that had a slit up to her thigh. She had a strict, deep voice that meant business. She sat on her desk and began talking again when the class actually shut up. Hello newcomers. Welcome to grade 10 science. The freshmen in here have skipped a level. The sophomores glared evilly at the freshmen. Got a problem, sophomores? No ma'am. They all said. The woman began speaking again. For all of you who don't know me, I'm Ms. Oni. I've been teaching at this school for at least 5 years. Sakura thought for a moment. She looked so young. She must be very smart. I know the rules, and if you break them, I have a special way of punishing you. Let's not get in trouble, shall we? All was silent. Sakura gulped. This is going to be a hard year with her. Ms. Oni stood up and glared at each of her students. Smiling, she looked at each one very carefully. You, with the pink hair. She pointed to Sakura, still smiling in amusement. Sakura looked around for any other pink-haired girls, hoping it wasn't her. Nope, no other pink-haired girls. Me, Ms. Oni. Sakura stuttered nervously. Yes, you. Oni smiled. You look smart. What's your name? Sakura Hanuro. Sakura squeezed her pencil. She was sweating. Sakura. Suits you. Oni hissed. Well, Sakura, I'm going to make you the representative of this classroom. You will take this offer, won't you? What's the representative do? Oni smiled. She represents this class, of course. I don't like the term, president. If you're the representative, you help people with homework, set up parties and other sorts. Anything that would make this class look good. There will be a competition this winter for best class in the entire school. I entered, and now, I want you to be the rep. So, in one sentence, the competition depends on you. Sakura wasn't up to this. She wasn't sure she could do all that. But if I disappoint her, the classmates, I don't know. But, Sakura had an idea. What's in it for me? Sakura choked. Oni smiled. Well, if you win, satisfaction. And if you do take the job, you'll be one step closer to freshman queen. Sakura felt her heart sink. Ino, I can't let her have her way. Oni continued. You get fame and your own spot in the Konoha newspaper. Hinata nudged her. Sounds great, Sakura-chan. Do it. Sakura looked back up to Oni. I'll do it. Oni clapped her hands together. Good. Now let's begin class. What was I thinking? Sakura thought, halfway running to her next class, which was history. She, somehow, found the class. Everyone was acting wild and throwing paper planes. Sit down. A woman's voice yelled. Everyone sat down. Sakura did also. The teacher sounded pissed. Sakura examined the room. Shikamaru again. Naruto. Ino. Naruto sat beside Sakura. Yeah, I have you for history. You can help me. History is not my favorite subject. He smiled brightly. Sakura didn't say anything since the teacher was looking straight at Naruto. Who was talking non-stop? Mr. Uzumaki, can I have your attention? Naruto turned around. Sakura looked at the blonde teacher. She recognized her somehow. Mrs. Yamanaka. Sakura blurted. You are K. Ino spat. Ah, you must be Sakura. Hi, I'm Ino's mother. I knew you'd recognize me. This is my first year teaching. And I was lucky enough to teach you and my daughter. Mrs. Yamanaka cooed. Sakura's eyes widened. They are so alike. It's so weird. Class, this is my daughter Ino. She pointed her yardstick over to the blonde-haired girl that was trying to hide in the back. She had her head on the desk. Sleeping already. Sad. Shikamaru was in front. He turned and poked her. He was supposed to be the lazy one. Hey Ino. Wake up Ino. Mrs. Yamanaka, we're going to call her Yamanaka, no Mrs. I get tired of putting that. Came over to her sleeping daughter. Shikamaru turned back around, trying not to get in trouble. Oh Ino. Shall we call Mr. Burns to dinner tonight? No, Mom. You're so embarrassing. Ino popped up. She wasn't asleep at all. Just pretending. Yamanaka giggled. She loves to tease her daughter. This is my wonderful baby Ino. The whole class laughed while Ino banged her head back on the desk. She was so embarrassed of her mother. Clueless of what they were laughing about, Yamanaka made her way back up to the classroom. She smiled politely. I will be teaching you history this year. As Ino's mom BL. Obit about how good this year will be. Ino sat in the back moaning. I hate her, she groaned. Shikamaru turned around to face Ino. You can't hate your mom. And who's Mr. Burns? Ino looked up to him. No one. And you've got to be kidding. She's a total ditz when it comes to common sense. I don't know Ino's mom. Don't bother me if it's not true. Wah, Shikamaru sighed. Well, that can be a good trait. Ino's eyes narrowed. How? Shikamaru shrugged. You're supposed to be smart. Yamanaka stopped talking. Ino pudding. Please stop talking honey. Ino banged her head on the desk. She's calling me baby names. The class muffled some laughter. Shikamaru's side rubbed Ino's back a little, sympathy thing, and turned around. Sakura escaped that alive. Ino's mom is my teacher. I never thought I would see the day. Sakura said, rushing again to her next class. She gripped books in her arms. Gym plus Kakashi equals trouble. I've got to make it through this class. She cut a corner, then bam. She bumped into a tall boy. She landed on her bottom. Ow. Sakura looked to the tall boy. He had black hair and mean eyes. Just like Sasuke. She gathered all her books while staring at the young man. Watch where you're going, freshman, he hissed. Sakura breathed heavily, noticing the features on the boy that resembled Sasuke. She had the nerve to speak. You. The boy was walking but turned around. Sakura looked in amazement. Just like Sasuke. Are you related to Sasuke? The boy looked around to see if anyone was coming. He stalked up to Sakura. The tardy bell rang. Sakura wanted to flee but she couldn't. She had to find out. He took her collar in his fist and backed her into a corner. He stared into her frightened emerald eyes. Oh no, he's going to beat me up. I shouldn't have asked. What have I done? The first day of school and I've got an enemy. Sakura could feel tears, but before she could cry the boy spoke. Don't you ever come near me again. You got that, Pinky? Sakura gladly nodded. The boy let her go. He turned and walked away. Sakura sat there watching him leave, her eyes wide from fright. That boy knows Sasuke-kun. Sakura gulped. Who is he? Sakura snapped back to life. She was 5 minutes late. Wah, I'm late. She ran as fast as she could to her next class, still thinking of that boy she met. She went into the girls' locker room. Everyone was dressed in their gym uniform. The uniform was a plain white t-shirt or tank top and shorts. Ino, having the attitude she has, had a tank top. She came up to a pondering Sakura. Hey forehead girl. Ino spat. Sakura said nothing, she was in deep thought. Hey Sakura. Ino yelled. Sakura looked at Ino. Yes. You okay? Ino asked, worried. Yeah, replied Sakura blankly. I'm fine. She lost her balance and Ino caught her. Sakura, you're not fine. Ino yelled. I'll go get Kakashi. Ino helped Sakura to a bench. No, I just need to chill. Oh, you had me scared. I'll go get your uniform. Tank top or shirt? Sakura curved her pink lips into a smile. Tank top, of course. You're not going to take all the attention. Ino went to get Sakura's uniform. Sakura. Hinata was behind Sakura. Yes, Hinata. Sakura stopped abruptly. Hinata smiled. She was wearing a tank top too. Hinata, aren't you a bit shy to be wearing that? Hinata blushed. Well, I was hoping to get someone's attention. Quote. Sakura laughed. Naruto. Ha ha ha. She was in tears. Hinata looked down at the floor, embarrassed. I think he's nice. Sakura got a hold of herself. I'm sorry, Hinata. It's just surprising you like him. I'm sure he'll notice you. Hinata blushed a deeper red. You think I'm too skinny? Of course not. Hinata, at least try to give him stronger clues this year. Sakura started muttering. You know how stupid he can be. Ino came back with her gym outfit. XXXXXL for Sakura. Ino yelled. Sakura grabbed her clothes. Shut up, Ino. I'm not that big. Ino rolled her eyes. Sure. Sakura stuck her tongue out at Ino. Well, at least my mom don't give out homework. Hinata looked surprised. Ino, your mother is a teacher here. Ino crossed her arms. Yeah, so what? Sakura put her plain white top on. That means that you're going to be teased the rest of the year. It doesn't mean I'll get teased. Lots of students here had or have parent teachers. I bet they got along just fine. Sakura scoffed. I bet. Ladies, are you ready for some Monday Night Football? Kakashi sang, popping his head in the locker room. All the girls stared at him for a while. Then they threw stuff at him. Carrot carrot. EKK. Go away, you pervert. All the girls yelled in unison. Kakashi ran for his life back to the boys' locker room. Ino rolled her eyes. He'll never change. We have to put up with him for the rest of the year. Sakura was disgusted. Yup. Hinata was blushing a bloody red now. He saw me changing. She complained. Ino looked to her. No shit. But, he's the first boy who has seen me changing. Sakura and Ino's sweat dropped. The whistle blew for Kakashi's group to line up for the last sprint. Sakura's heart pounded. The teams of boys versus girls were tied. She was up next to make the next point. She had to race Sasuke to the finish line. The finish line was a few yards. This was all about speed. Beads of sweat ran down Sakura's hot face. It was warm and the sun was beating up the students. Ready, Kakashi called with his tight short-sleeve black shirt that covered his mouth, ironic. I can't reveal the secret though. His shorts were below his knee. His eyes covered by sunglasses, he had them on 24/7. Sasuke nodded in his white tank top and white shorts. Okay. Everyone start drooling. Sakura melted as she nodded also. Ready. Sasuke and Sakura bent down low to the track. Set. They both braced. Go. The gun popped. Everyone started screaming. Sakura and Sak took off. Sasuke in the front. I have to win this. Sakura thought from behind him. Maybe he'll see me stronger that way. Sakura sped up until she was running beside Sasuke. He looked over to her and gasped. Blushing, Sasuke ran faster so the girl would not catch up to him. I'm not giving up that easily, Sasuke-kun. She ran past Sasuke in a blaze. Yeah, I passed him. Sakura stepped too soon and lost her balance. Sakura flipped to the ground flat on her stomach. Sasuke ran past her, finishing the race with another point for the boys. Sakura stared at the raven-haired boy. Why did you run past me? You didn't even help me. All the boys ran to Sasuke's side and praised him. They had won the first sprint of the year. Sakura sat on her knees, rubbing her stomach that was in pain. Ow, she moaned. Hinata rushed to Sakura's side. Sakura-chan, are you okay? Yeah, she said, patting her stomach. I just landed on my tummy. Ino came over and helped Sakura up. He ought to be ashamed of himself. Sakura giggled faintly. No, it's just a race. This happens from time to time. Hinata gave Sakura a cheerful smile. Yeah, if you didn't fall down, you had him beat. Thanks, Hinata. Ino frowned. HMPH. Ino began walking towards the boys. Ino, where are you going? Sakura shouted. Ino didn't turn around and just kept walking. I'm going to give Sasuke a piece of my mind. Sakura followed behind Ino. Curious Hinata followed also. The boys stopped praising and laughing when a furious-looking Ino approached. Kakashi was along with the rest of the class on the other side of the field. He wasn't getting into this. Sasuke and Ino stared at each other. She broke the silence. Wasn't there something you should have done for Sakura? Sasuke stared at Ino as a reply. All right then. Out from nowhere Ino smacked Sasuke. Sasuke fell backwards. Shocked, he had his hand pressed on his wound. Ino, no, why'd you do that? Sakura ran to Sasuke's side. She peeled his hand from his face to check if Ino had drawn any blood. Sakura, why do you always do this? Ino hollered. Sakura pouted and said nothing. Sasuke still had his eyeballs popping out of his head. Ino hit him. It was a surprise. Sakura turned to Sasuke. Are you okay, Sasuke-kun? He nodded and face was back to his normal expression. Ino just got angrier by this scene. Her fists trembled. She wanted to kill her a person. Instead of causing a fight, she backed away and headed toward the locker rooms. Ino, Hinata called. She wanted to follow her, but it was best not to. Sasuke and Sakura sat on the ground while the RS went over to Kakashi to tell him what happened. Sakura started. Sasuke got up. I'm sorry. I should have helped you. You could have been hurt badly. He lowered his eyes to Sakura, who was still sitting on the ground. It's okay, Sakura said, shyly blushing. He held out his hand to help her up. She took his hand, feeling his soft warm fingers wrap hers. Admiring his masculine bullet, Sakura blushed even deeper. She giggled like a little giddy girl. Creepy. Sasuke rolled his eyes. Stupid, embarrassing girls. The secret of the black-haired boy. Sakura changed back into her chair. Blossom dress and waited for the bell to ring to go to her next class. It was math with Iruka. Finally a teacher with sense. She was hungry and couldn't wait to go to lunch. Sakura sighed joyfully. Going to lunch with Iruka and not Kakashi. I don't have to see him read that disgusting book. They don't even allow books like that on school property. But still, no one knows what's in it, so he can't be in trouble. Sakura sat on one of the benches, while listening to everyone chatter. Some people are so lucky. They get to enjoy school. I hate it. An image of Sasuke popped in her mind. Well, sometimes I hate school. She smiled, then looked to Ino. She was frowning while packing her things. Probably thinking of Sasuke too. Ino-chan, defended me from Sasuke. Why? Sakura came and tapped on Ino's shoulder. Hey Ino. Ino glared at Sakura. And what, pray tell, do you want? She asked coldly. Thank you for doing that for me. I'm sorry I didn't stick up for you like you did for me. Yeah, whatever. Sakura thought of something to make Ino forget the scene. Hey, I met this boy in the hallway. He looks just like Sasuke. They might be brothers. Ino looked at Sakura strangely. What? This caught Hinata's attention. She glanced at them stuffing her gym clothes in her locker. Sakura smiled. He looks just like him. I met him before I came to this class. Did you ask him if he was related to Sasuke? Ino said with interest. Sakura thought for a moment of how he threatened her. No, not yet, but I'm going to find out. She lied. Ino smiled brightly. You'll introduce me, right? Sakura was sweating bullets and the lies got bigger and bigger. Yeah, I will, Ino-chan. Great. Ino ran off to the front door to wait for the bell. Phew. Sakura made a sad face. What will happen to me now? I lied. This beep s. Hinata came over. You know, lying is bad for your health. Sakura jumped. Oh, Hinata, you scared me. Sakura frowned again. Yeah, I know. You've seen him, haven't you? Hinata nodded. Sakura sighed. And you know how dangerous he can be. Hinata once again nodded. Well, I guess you can help me. What? No. Sakura smiled devilishly. Yeah, come on. We'll corner the boy and make him tell us information. 2 against 1. He's sure to give in. Hinata frowned. But he's a senior. Sakura stared at her. Really? Where'd you get your info from? Neji. She replied simply. Where'd he get his info from? Hinata shrugged. Well, looks like our first target is Neji, huh? Hinata gasped. Yeah, Neji is your cousin, so you can talk to him. Plus he did move in your house so he can go to this school, right? Hinata sighed. Yeah, so you'll talk to him. Sakura pleaded. I don't know. He won't talk to me unless he has to. Well, this is a have-to situation. I dunno, Sakura-chan. Hinata looked at the ground. I'll come along too if you need backup. But you'll scare him. Good, she hissed, rubbing her hands together. Math had the whole Naruto cast in it. Iruka wasn't sure he could handle such chores. He rubbed his temple waiting for the tardy bell. Naruto was jumping around the classroom throwing planes. Ino was chasing him along with Shikamaru arguing with her. Sasuke was watching everyone else. Sakura and Hinata entered the room together. Poor Iruka, he has to take care of this lot. Sakura said in amusement. The tardy bell rung and everyone took their seats. Sakura sat beside Sasuke. Sakura was beside Naruto. In front of Sakura was Io, beside Ino was Shikamaru. Behind Sakura was Neji and beside Neji was Hinata. Is anyone going to memorize this? 'Cause I'm not. Sakura gazed at Sasuke's new school gear. He was so stylish. Everything was either blue or black. Sasuke glared at Sakura, who was staring at him. What? Nothing. Sakura blushed. Can I borrow a pen? Sasuke looked at her. Are you going to keep it? No. Sakura said softly. Why would I do that, Sasuke-kun? Sasuke didn't say anything. He just handed her his blue pen. Sakura joyfully took it. It was so pretty. It was blue, duh. With a little shimmer in it. It was a fountain one too. So expensive. Sakura looked around to see if anyone was looking. Nope. No one. Everyone had their eyes on Iruka. She sniffed the pen. Ah, she said out loud. The whole class looked at her strangely. Ino and Hinata sweat dropped. They knew what she was doing. Ahem asterisk, is there a problem, Sakura? Iruka asked. Sakura shook her head. No sir. Okay. Iruka kept talking. Sakura smiled to herself. Watermelon scent. He likes the scent of watermelon. XD. She sniffed it a couple more times and started her work. After class they had lunch with Iruka. They all sat in their seats munching gratefully on food after such a hard day. Naruto slurped his ramen while Hinata sat across from him, swooning over how he's so manly when he slurps. Sakura and Ino stared at each other. So, have you prepared a lunch for Sasuke-kun? Have you? Ino laughed. Of course. She shoved the box at Sasuke, who was diagonal from her. Sakura looked beside her. Sasuke had box lunches piled sky high from various girls. He looked disgusted. Sakura handed him her box lunch that she made for him. It was red with a cute chibi octopus on the top. Sakura dug in her pockets. She had a pair of chopsticks for him wrapped in paper. Sasuke looked at it, then began working on his homework. You're not going to eat it, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke shook his head. He never eats Sakura's or anyone's lunch that they made for him. Sakura looked sadly at her box lunch she prepared for him. Well, it can't go to waste. She picked up the box and put it in her backpack. She'll eat it as a snack. Everyone was enjoying their lunches. Sakura looked around to find a person she could give it to without wasting it or her eating it. All of the people had lunches except Neji. Sakura took her box that was for Sasuke and took it to Neji. She sat beside the empty seat beside him. Hey Neji, Sakura began. Neji looked over to her and quickly looked the other way. What? Sakura smiled simply. She hesitated but went with her plan. Do you want this box lunch? It was meant for someone else but they weren't too hungry. Since I saw you with no lunch, take this one. Neji looked at the box. Then to Sakura, who was trying to smile. He took the box and started to eat. Sakura smiled. She never gave anyone else her cooking. She wondered how it tasted to Neji. He's always quiet and reserved. So, how is it? Sakura asked patently. Neji glared at her. I'm eating it, aren't I? Sakura laughed. I'll be right back. Sakura came back with her bag and lunch. She sat next to Neji. What are you doing? Neji asked. Well, I'll sit beside you for a while. You're always so lonely. Neji went silent, then began eating again. He wolfed down the food. Sakura glanced at him. You were hungry, weren't you? She smiled. Neji blushed. Not really. Neji's stomach grumbled. Embarrassed, he looked the other way. Ah, take this one too. She handed him her lunch. Neji looked at her surprised. Neji, take it. You're making me blush. Stop looking at me that way. Sakura laughed. He took her box. Thanks. He smiled a bit. Neji, is that a smile? Neji shook his head and wolfed down the lunch. Sakura smiled as she saw him eat the food so fast. He stopped to glance at Sakura. It's really good, he said casually. Thanks. I love for people to enjoy my cooking. You cooked this? Yeah. Sakura giggled. I see. It's good. They enjoyed lunch together. Hinata looked at the happy couple. Sakura and Neji. Hinata wondered. What an odd couple. So odd, it might be a bit cute. Sakura walked through the hallway to make it to her next class. The next one was taught by Kakashi and Iruka. It was ninja skills for intermediates. What irony. She was caught a glimpse of the black-haired boy she met a few hours ago. She stared at him until someone bumped into her. Hinata. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I wasn't Lou. Sakura clasped a hand over Hinata's mouth. She took Hinata and back to the wall to hide from the boy. That's the boy, Sakura said with her hand still over Hinata's mouth. Hinata struggled to get Sakura's unwanted hand off her face. Sakura peeked around the corner. She stared at the boy. He had long black hair. Evil eyes like Sasuke. Her eyes widened. Good looks run in the family. Hinata waved a hand over Sakura's face. She was practically drooling with her mouth hanging open. Akira snapped back to life and released Hinata. She gasped for air. You trying to kill me? She yelled softly. I almost suffocated. Sorry Hinata. Look though. It's him. And, ring. We're late. She said depressed. Hinata's sweat dropped. What are we gonna do? We're late. Stay here and spy. He must have a reason to skip class. And we are going to find out. Sakura said determined. Hinata whined. Sakura-chan. He's dangerous. We better not come up to him without someone to back us up. We don't need anyone. We're just spying now, be quiet. Sakura commanded. Hinata did as she was told. They listened intently as the boy talked to another boy next to the bathroom. Listen, it's $500 per pound. Take it or leave it. But Mr. Itachi, that's so expensive. You don't come across this shit a lot. This is pure, so how about it? Fine. Meet me at the warehouse on 5th Avenue. We'll see if it's pure or not. Bring about 5 pounds. Ya hear? Yes. The man hissed. You won't be disappointed. Oh my gosh. Sakura shivered. Hinata looked up at her frightened friend. What, Sakura-chan? I couldn't hear a word. Sakura turned to Hinata's eyes and looked at them. Hinata, promise me you won't tell. Hinata nodded. They are. Sakura flopped to the ground. They are dealing drugs. Hinata gasped, which alerted the two boys. What was that? One of them said. Sakura and Hinata looked around to find a place to hide. They could hear footsteps come toward them. What do we do? Sakura pleaded. I don't know. You're smart. I got a plan. Hinata looked at her quizzically. Okay. The boy turned around the corner to find Sakura on the floor and crying while Hinata was trying to help her up. Excuse me, can you help me and my friend? Hinata asked the mysterious boy. She has a sharp pain in her leg. She can't get up. Please help me get her to the nurse. The boy looked at them. The moment Sakura lifted her head, he recognized her. He grinned heavily, which made chills go down Sakura's back. Sure, he hissed. Sakura was going to hesitate, but she didn't want to look suspicious. So she let him pick her up. He was very strong and firm. Akira closed her eyes and wished that it was Sasuke. Sakura was so tiny compared to his masculine build. Sakura looked at the boy and tried to put all the pieces together. Sasuke. This boy. They had to be related. Sakura tilted her head looking at all of the obvious features that might resemble Sasuke. Hey girl. The boy coldly said, referring to Hinata. She glanced at him, but it wasn't very long that she was staring at the floor again. Why yes. Go to your class. I can tell you aren't the type to skip it. You fidget too much, he said coldly. Sakura motioned for her to go and Hinata took her leave. At the nurse's office, Sakura and the boy waited. Sakura looked sadly at the mean-looking boy. He was staring off into space. At least tell me your name. Sakura said softly and as non-threatening as she could. I know you heard every single thing. You better not tell anyone, or I'll kill you. Sakura looked down at the floor sadly. Well, my name is Sakura. Itachi. She looked up surprised. You're Sasuke's brother, aren't you? He didn't say anything, so it must have been a yes or something. He glared at Sakura like she was talking him to death. Sorry, shish. Smiled her famous cherry blossom smile. Her smile was warm and calming. Itachi sunk in his seat staring at her. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get flamed. XD. He wanted to say something but the words wouldn't come out. What's wrong with me? This girl has too much information. I need to know I have to kill her sooner or later, but even as I say that. He looked at the pink-haired girl. What? Is there something on my face? Sakura asked. Itachi felt his face get hot. No way. Not over a freshman. That's like falling in love with a baby. Nothing. Just stop staring at me. Itachi said. Well, if you'd stop looking at me, you wouldn't know I was looking at you. Sakura replied smartly. Itachi growled. He didn't have time for this. I'm going. See you around, I better not see you again. He mumbled a few curses as he left the room. The nurse came over to her. Hello. What the matter? Sakura jumped up. You know, all of a sudden, my pain is gone. Gracing me with your presence has been so helpful. Sakura said sarcastically. She hugged the nurse. Thank you. She merrily skipped off. The nurse just shrugged. She was probably on medication anyway. Damn, I hate it when I have to do things like that. Sakura said. She stopped skipping and walked. Falling for the enemy, Sakura laid on her bed looking at a map of the city. Her room was an off-white color with a pink bed. Simple. Sakura thought out loud. Warehouse on 5th Avenue Where the heck is that? She continued to lick the popsicle that was in her hand. She gazed at the map carefully, minding every word and sign. She groaned. This is so useless. I'll never catch him. I have no idea where it is. And I have to find out by tonight. She got up and peered out her window. She saw the busy people, and children happily playing in the street. In frustration, Sakura bit her popsicle. Ah, she screamed. Brain freeze. Everyone in the street looked around for the scream. Embarrassed, Sakura ran downstairs to figure out what her mom was doing. Hey mom, Sakura said coming into the kitchen. What's up? Oh hun, looky what I got in the mail. Her mom hurried to heave a big box on the dining table. It's for you. Found it by the mail box. Sakura looked at the box suspiciously. Who's it from? It doesn't say, dear. Do you know anyone who would give you this? Sakura thought. It's probably a bomb from Itachi. Or maybe not. Only one way to find out, mom. She ripped the box aside but suddenly stopped. Mom, what if it's like one of those guns that pop out when you open it? Her mom looked at her. Well, open it while you're ducking, dear. She giggled. This is not a joke, mom. Sakura glanced at the box again. But that could be our only solution. She did as her mother told her and ducked while she felt around the box to open it. She couldn't see a thing. When she finally got it open, her mother started laughing. What is it, mom? Laughing gas. No, dear. Look. Sakura got up and looked inside the box. She saw a Japanese schoolgirl sailor uniform. What the hell? Watch you mouth, dear. It must be you school uniform. Oh, it's so cute. Put it on, dear. Sakura blushed as she held it up. Mom, you see how revealing this is? The skirt was pretty short. It was way above the knees. No sleeves either. You'd look so cute. I had one of those uniforms when I was your age. I loved it. You have those cute little legs I had. You'll be fine, dear. All those boys. Oh, how's your little buddy Sasuke dear doing? Sakura blushed. Mom, don't talk about him. But he's such a cute little boy. When are you going to bring his cute lil butt home? Mom, okay dear. Lordy, go try on your uniform. You'll be wearing it until winter. Sakura sighed. At least her mom wasn't a teacher. She's more embarrassing than Ino's. She was in her room looking at her black sailor uniform. I'm not Sailor Moon. Sigh, this bites. She glanced at a few more angles of her uniform. I would love the attention from boys though. Sakura. Sakura looked around to find out who was calling her. It was from the window. She looked out the window at the ground. It was Ino. Hey Ino, what's up? Ino was wearing her uniform. She twirled. What do you think? Sakura's eyes lit up. It's beautiful on you, Ino. Think so. Come down. I want to see you. Okay. Sakura said weakly. She didn't want to go out in public like this. Too many old perverts out there. Plus, if the wind ever came, everyone would probably see her underwear. Mom, I'm going out with Ino. Sakura yelled, exiting the house. Bye dear. By the time her mom said that Sakura was with Ino, Sakura let Ino inspect her. Ino glared at her while she went around Sakura examining her. Ino looked at Sakura up and down. You know, you'll have the most problem, I think. They made your uniform too short. You had that growth spurt last summer and clothes on you have been too short. No matter what size you get, either it's too long or too short. Sakura was about to choke Ino. What are you, my mother? Hey girls, Hinata said, approaching. Hinata looked the best in her uniform. It was the right size. She had her shoes that matched too. The design of the uniform best suited Hinata. Wow Hinata, Sakura said, coming up to the short girl. That looks great on you. You think so? Hinata said, twirling her short hair with her fingers. Neji approached. He has a black and blue Japanese school uniform. It made him look real tough. XD. Sakura blushed a crimson red. Wow, you look good too, Neji. Neji didn't say anything but blush. He looked at the ground and kicked a rock. Hinata smiled at her cousin. Her plan to get Sakura and Neji together was working so far. Now, all I have to do is get them closer. He likes her. She likes him. This is great. Ino glanced from Neji to Sakura a couple of times. She had no idea what was going on. She decided to change the subject. Sakura. Yes, Sakura said, now focusing her attention on Ino. What about that boy you were going to introduce me to? Did you find him yet? Hinata and Sakura looked at each other. Hinata shrugged. Sakura had no choice but to break the news to Ino. He transferred. No, she wasn't gonna tell. You silly people. XD. Ino's smile turned into a frown. Aw man. Already. Hinata and Sakura nodded, sweating bullets. Neji wondered why they were lying. He could always tell. Sakura dinner. Sakura's mom called out the door. Neji looked at her mother. So this is your home, Sakura? Sakura nodded. Do you want to come in? She said nervously. No, don't worry about it, he said, turning and starting to walk back to his home. Sakura smiled at the boy. Classic view. Going into the sunset. You never know how beautiful it is until you see it. Ino stared at them and nudged Hinata. Are they like checking each other out or what? Hinata happily shrugged. Sakura dialed the number to Hinata's house. She stared at the map. She had found 5th Avenue on it. Now she wanted to investigate. Someone picked up the phone. Hello, Neji, is that you? Sakura asked gently. Why yes, he stuttered. What was she doing calling him? Can I be any help, Sakura? He whispered into the phone. Yes, keep talking, I love your voice. But I do need to talk to Hinata. Can you get her to the phone? She's sleeping. He sounded a little weak because of Sakura's affection for his voice. Wake her please. Okay. Hold on. She could hear Neji put the phone down and walk back to Hinata's room. She heard some mumbles. She heard light footsteps come up to the phone. Yes, Sakura. It's 8 p.m. What are you doing calling me? You sleep too much. I found the guy. Come to my house. We are going to spy. What? We can't do that. If we get caught, they'll kill us. If you be quiet, they won't. Sakura softly yelled in the phone. Sakura. Hinata whined. Fine. I'll go by myself. No, I'll go. But Sakura, just to let you know, I'm going to write my will before I leave. No, we're already late I imagine. Now go to my house. No time to lose. Sakura hung up. Hinata put the phone down and sighed. She wasn't allowed outside the Hyuga dojo at this time of night. So I'll have to sneak out. Hinata thought, depressed. She went back into her room to change into her ninja outfit. Ninja outfit. That's all I could think of. Let me alone. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Hinata said, following Sakura down a dark deserted alley. It was cold and creepy outside. Here we are. 5th Avenue. The shortest street here. There can't be too many warehouses. Sakura said happily. She was happy until she turned around and found that the whole street was filled with warehouses. They stared in silence. All the warehouses looked the same. Sakura, what do we do now? There are too many warehouses here. We'll never find them. Hinata exclaimed. Sakura covered Hinata's mouth. Not again. Shish. Listen. I hear talking. They both stopped moving to listen. They didn't hear much, but they found out which warehouse it was. They snuck up on the roof of the warehouse and peeked inside. They saw 2 groups of 5 people. There was a table to separate the 2 groups. On that table was 2 black suitcases. Probably money and the drugs. All of the men were dressed in black tuxedos. A black limo and 2 black BMs. Wow, this looks like some serious drug dealing. Sakura whispered to Hinata. Hinata nodded. They both pressed their ears against the glass to listen at the conversation. You got it, said the largest man there. It's not yours until you buy it, old man. Itachi snapped. Itachi. Sakura whispered softly. That's his name. Is it he, Sasuke's brother, or what? Sakura nodded. I found out today at the nurse's office. He actually talked to you. Sakura nodded and continued to listen. All right, I'll give you 400 a pound. It's 500, you pig. What did you call me, you fool? It's 400. It's not all that pure. Say it again, you bastard. I'm pop a cap in you ass right now. Don't forget, you're wanted all over the world. I can get a reward for your ass. You better watch your mouth, you lil. Achoo. Hinata sneezed. Sakura gasped and tried to cover her mouth. She leaned too far on the glass until it cracked. This alerted the dealers. Who's there? Sakura and Hinata held onto each other. Oh no, they caught us. They both whispered. The man that looked like the hitman shot the glass and the 2 girls came tumbling down. That's a big drop, people. Wah. Itachi recognized Sakura's voice and ran to where she was about to fall. Itachi reached out and caught her before she hit the concrete ground. Hinata hit a box of pillows. Lucky her, this was a pillow warehouse. Sakura looked up to her guardian angel. Itachi. She blushed. I could have been killed. She hugged Itachi. Thank you. Thank you. She sighed joyfully. Itachi put her down, still hugging her tightly. Hinata stared at them in surprise. She's hugging a drug dealer. Itachi caught her. Could they be? Sakura let him go, tears in her eyes. Itachi stared at her for a moment. Her emerald eyes held him captive for the soft moment. He blushed. What are you doing here? Itachi snapped. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Sakura yelled back. Itachi had an irritated voice. Is anyone else here with you? No, no, please don't kill me. Itachi grabbed the back of Sakura's collar and forced her to sit in a chair. Itachi and the rest of his gang tied her up. Sorry about this, sir. This chick goes to school with me. She probably followed me here. Itachi said to the porky man on the other side of the table. Kill her when I leave. The man hissed. Yes, I will dispose of her. Now is it a deal? 500. Sakura gasped, but a handkerchief held her scream. Yes, I want it by tomorrow. Thank you. The porky man got into his limo and left the warehouse. Itachi looked to Sakura, who was crying. Too bad. You're going to die now. And I thought you looked so cute. Too bad cute people can't mind their own business. Right, Sakura. He pointed the handgun to her head. Boys, you go on ahead. Leave this to me. The rest of his gang got into one BMW and left. Itachi untied the handkerchief. What do you have to say for yourself? Now that you're on the Sharingan gang turf. Good name, XD. Please don't kill me. I don't want to die. Hinata, that crashed in a box, stared in horror. She couldn't save her because she wanted her own life. Plus, she was scared stiff. Itachi squeezed the handle. Hinata closed her eyes and she heard the gunshot echo through the air. She automatically started crying. She knew Sakura was dead. There was no way to bring her back to life. She couldn't stand the thought of being in high school without her. She looked up to face harsh reality. She saw Neji, Sakura on the floor still tied to her chair struggling to get up. She was alive. Itachi was on the ground. Neji must have snuck up on Itachi. He helped Sakura up and untied her. Neji, thank you. Once again someone saves her butt. XD. Neji hugged back graciously. Are you alright? He asked gently. No. Sakura let him go and looked at her arm. Itachi still shot her in the arm. Yow. Neji commented looking at the small bleeding wound. We need to get you some help. Neji was going to help her but Sakura ran to Itachi on the ground. He was still but not dead. Neji must have knocked him out with one kick. Go Neji. She took the gun from Itachi and nudged him. Itachi. Itachi. Please wake up. Please. Neji didn't say anything but he thought it was foolish to be doing that to a killer. Itachi came to. He held up his hand to her head hoping to shoot her but found out that there was no gun in his hand. Are you okay Itachi? Sakura said softly. She rubbed his hair back from his forehead. Itachi blushed. What was she doing comforting him? He was getting ready to kill her. Why isn't she going to take her revenge? Why are you? You saved me and it's only fair to return the favor. Plus you said I was cute. She giggled contentedly. Itachi got up. Sakura did also. I didn't want you to kill me before because I didn't pay you back for saving me. I guess we are on even grounds now though. She handed him the gun. Here, it's only fair. Because I was in your business. He pointed the gun at her head. She started to cry again. Itachi mentally hit himself. Why can't I kill her? It's not because she's a girl. It's not because of anything. I just can't do it. He put the gun down and Sakura sighed. Her life had been spared. Go before I change my mind. Itachi said nonchalantly. Yes. Sakura whispered. Hinata came out from hiding and hugged her cousin. Neji. Thank you. How do you know we were here? Neji looked down at Hinata. I overheard you all talking. There is more than one phone in the house. Hinata smiled. Good thing he did overhear them. Sakura came over. Thanks Neji. We really owe you a lot. Neji shrugged. Hinata inspected Sakura's arm. Sakura. You did get shot. We have to get you to the hospital. Sakura looked at her wound. It's actually not a real bullet. I think it's a dud. But it did puncture my skin. We still need the hospital. I'm so grounded for this. Wait until I tell mom. Study date. Sakura woke up to the bright early morning of Tuesday. The second day of school. She stared at the ceiling not wanting to get out of her warm bed. Itachi. She apt on all the things that happened and what he said. It was like a picture book. A love story. He saved her. She saved him. Then he saved her. Sakura wondered how she would save him again. To meet and come close to him. She smiled childishly thinking those cute thoughts. She got out of bed and put on her clothes. Ow, she groaned. Her upper arm was still hurting like no other. Neji had taken care of bandaging on her arm so her mother wouldn't find out what happened. She looked at her door. That's where she put Neji's jacket that she borrowed from him to cover up her wound. Sakura turned to the window. But there was something different. A single tulip was laid on the windowsill. With a note hanging from it. Sakura hurriedly opened the window. The tulip was pink and had a shade of white at the tips. It was very pretty. The yellow ribbon was tied to it with note on that. Who's this from? Sakura mumbled to herself. She flipped the note over and read aloud. Dear Sakura, I'm sorry about your arm. Itachi. She gripped her note tightly. Itachi. He's not so cold and cruel all the time. How did he know where I lived though? Sakura heard a knock on the door that made her jump. Sakura. What are you doing in there? You'll be late for school dear. It was her overprotective father. Sakura sighed and tried to find a vase for her tulip. Pursing her lips together. To think she looked around her room and under her bed. She found a glass clear one in her closet. It was perfect. She tied the note around the neck of the vase and put the flower in. With it she snuck to the bathroom to put water in it. She smiled happily as she halfway filled it with water. Going back to her room she found her mother snooping around. Mom, what are you doing? Sakura said, placing the vase on her study desk. Oh, dear. Good morning. Whose jacket is this? She held out Neji's jacket to Sakura. Ah. Ino's. Sakura lied. Oh, I thought it was a boy's jacket. Sorry. You girls today are certainly tomboys. The fashion these days are getting more boyish by the minute. Start out wearing pants, then you go on to the shirts, then you go to liking cars. I swear. Geez Lapeats, who gave you that pretty tulip? Quote. Sakura was deep into space. Her mom waved a hand over her eyes. What? Who gave you the beautiful tulip? Itachi. Sakura said without thinking. Oh, who's that? Her mom asked, very interested. Such a cute lil name. No, don't. I don't know. Sakura exclaimed, running out her door. She made her way downstairs, grabbing her book bag and running out of the door with an orange in hand. Before she could go up the street, her mother yelled to her. You don't have your uniform on, Sakura dear. Sakura's sweat dropped. What a morning, she sighed, returning to the house. Homeroom was yammering away as usual. Sakura sat at her desk thinking about Itachi giving her the tulip. Sakura-chan. Naruto yelled, coming into the classroom. Late. Sakura-chan. Sakura was broken out of her thoughts. What? She screamed back. Naruto ran over to her desk and sat on the floor by her side. Sakura-chan, you look awesome in your uniform. Naruto said calmly. Sakura blushed. Thanks, Naruto. She bent down to be face level with him. But you know what would make me really happy? What is it, Sakura-chan? I'll do anything for you. Naruto happily cooed. Why don't you go over there and say Hinata looks beautiful in her uniform? Sakura said, smiling. Why? Naruto whined back. Sakura slapped him upside his head. Just do what I tell you, idiot. Fine. Just give me a beep, okay? No. Before she could finish saying what she wanted, Naruto jumped up and beeped her on the cheek. Hinata stared at her classmates. She blushed. So, she does like Naruto. Oh no, he's coming over here. Hinata stood up and walked over to the window to avoid Naruto. Hinata, Naruto said, making his way to the window also. Hinata, I have something to tell you. Hinata looked out the window, trying to avoid him. No, he's not talking to me. Nope, not to me. Why would he talk to me? Sounds absurd. She felt a hand on her shoulder. Hinata, didn't you hear me calling you? Naruto asked innocently. Hinata stiffed, seeing her favorite guy in his uniform. What? You were talking to me? Yeah, he said, sitting in front of her in the window. She looked down, embarrassed. She stared at his dangling shoes, admiring his taste in sneakers. I see. What do you want? I wanted to tell you how beautiful you looked in your uniform, Hinata. Hinata blushed deeper. I thought you liked Sakura-chan. I do, but I also like you too. Naruto said, smiling his foxy smile. Hinata did her gentle smile. You do. Naruto nodded, clueless of what kind of like she means. Hinata giggled. She couldn't believe that Naruto liked her and noticed her. Hinata brushed her hair back with her hair. Do want to. She stopped being afraid of being put down. Naruto looked at her with his sweet blue eyes. What is it, Hinata? Do I want to what? I like you too, Naruto. Do you want to? She gripped the bow on her uniform. Do you want to date me? Naruto gasped. The whole class heard and silence filled the room. Hinata looked around to all the people that heard the propose. She glanced at each shocked and horrified face. Tears of embarrassment filled her eyes as she looked to Naruto for support, which he wasn't doing. Hinata bit her lip, hoping someone would just kill her. Right then and there she wanted to die. Sakura looked shocked at the position. Naruto looked to her, worried of what he should say. Sakura nodded to motion him to say yes to her question. Naruto looked sad. He had to date Hinata and not Sakura. Yes, Hinata, I will, he said bravely, enhancing his voice to sound like one of those big-time superheroes. Hinata's head jerked up in amazement. What? Her eyes were wide. The class shuddered at the thought of them dating. Naruto nodded and jumped off the window. The class began to talk once more. Hinata, satisfied, ran to her seat and began to write. Naruto came over to Sakura. Sakura, I didn't want to. Shish. Sakura said happily. Do you know how much grief you've lifted off of Hinata's shoulders? Huh, you numbnut. She's liked you since she saw you. She been tr. Ying to get your attention for more than 4 years. What? Just get to know her. You'll find out. Date her for a few days and see how it goes. Be her boyfriend. But Sakura, I love you. Don't want to hear it. She said, putting her hand up to his face. Just try to forget about me, Naruto. Naruto sadly looked at the ground. Sakura looked at the boy and stood up. She smiled. Naruto, please give it a try. She said gently. For me, please. He blushed a deep red. But to me, you'll always be the one, Sakura. Naruto said, kind of upset. Sakura blushed and nodded. Thank you, Naruto. Second period. Sakura studied the book that they were using for the year. Oni had another blue outfit on. It was a skirt. She sat on her desk waiting patiently for the class to hush. Now class, these are new this year. Make sure you take care of them. Or you'll be the one to pay for them. Okay. The class made a pour. Yes, ma'am. The cover of it was a blue with a cute fish on it. It was a pretty heavy book. Inside there was lots of experiments and definitions. You know what that means, lots of writing. Sakura looked to Hinata. Hey Hinata, isn't this lil fish cute? Hinata smiled. Yep, he sure is. She giggled. She was hyper and nervous since this morning. Sakura was happy for her. Her dreams had come true. But she hoped it would last. She looked to Neji, who hadn't opened his book. He was just staring at the cover. He looked like he wanted to kill it. Neji, are you okay? She laughed. Neji turned to her. Yeah. He said uneasily. He blinked at her and turned back to his book. Sakura stared at him for a moment and turned to her teacher, who was preaching about book care. What's wrong with Neji? Why is he so tense? She thought worriedly. History went by fast. She walked the halls looking for Itachi. This is where she met him the first time. She glanced around to each person looking for her dark-haired friend. She wrinkled her face into a frown when she couldn't find him. She stopped by her locker to put a few books in. Here it is. Locker 409. She sang loudly. She hummed as she played with her lock to open it. She hummed until it became very difficult to open. Stupid. She kicked the locker a few times. Hey, stop kicking the lockers. A man said to her. He must be a teacher here. Sorry. She yelled back pitifully. She was getting really angry now. I hate this stupid locker. If I don't hurry, I'll be late. I'll help. A deep voice said behind her. Itachi. Sakura scowled, turning around to find Sasuke. His eyes went wide. What did you call me? Sakura blushed. Nothing, Sasuke. What are you talking about? He glared at her. HMPH. He bent down and began to pick at the lock. What's your combination? 192012. She said gently. He turned the lock left and right until he had it open for her. Thank you, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke waited for her to put her books in and walked her to class. So you know Itachi? Sasuke said nonchalantly. Kinda. Stay away from him. He's nothing but trouble, and if he's near, be sure to stay by my side. I'll protect you. Sakura gasped. He'll protect me. Why? She tugged on his uniform for him to slow down. He's your brother. He's very nice to me. Sakura replied. I don't think I need your protection. Sasuke looked at her. Sakura, stay away from him. He commanded. You can't tell me what to do. I'll do what I feel like doing. I like your brother, and if I feel like handing out with him, I will. Sakura said, screaming in the hallway. Everyone is staring now. No. Sasuke yelled back, causing Sakura to jump. No, I won't let you near him. You can't be near him. He'll hurt you. He's dangerous. I don't care. Well, I do. Sasuke's voice cracked. Sakura's heart stopped beating. He cares. She gripped the bow on the front of her uniform. She looked around at all the people. They were staring at the two main people, who were pretty quiet. Sakura blushed. Why, you can see care all you want. She stuttered. But I think I like him. Sasuke dropped his jaw. How? He saved me. He saved my life. Do what you want then. Don't come crying to me. There was an awkward silence when Sasuke turned and went into the boys' locker room. I won't. Sakura screamed to him. She turned to the girls and went inside. Ino saw the scene. Sakura, what happened? Sakura turned to the blonde. Nothing. Just leave me alone, she said, on the verge of crying. Ino stared at her go over to her gym locker. Then looked at Hinata. She shrugged. Sakura sat in math still mad, not listening to a word Iruka was saying. Sasuke was the same. They both never bothered to look at each other. Everyone was worried about the two. Rumors were that Sakura asked him for a date while Sasuke declined it and she got very angry. But we all know that wasn't true. Sakura looked angry on the outside but she was very sad. Why do I have to treat him like this? He said he would protect me. I don't understand. Why is this so hard to handle? I love him so much. But yet, I treated him like he was some stranger. She looked to him, admiring his calm face compared to her frowning one. She calmed her face. I hate him sometimes. He glanced at her and then quickly turned back to Iruka. Neji passed a note to Sakura. Sakura received the note and opened the paper. It said, "What's wrong? You seem bothered by something. Can we talk about it during lunch?" Sakura smiled. She wrote back that she would love to talk to him. Neji is being so nice lately. I guess he considers me a friend. Wow. Sasuke sulked as they both passed letters to each other for the whole class period. Sakura giggling quietly at every note he passed. He must be a very funny guy. Sasuke thought. He'll be real funny when I knock all those teeth out. The bell for lunch rung and everyone ran out that class happily. Sasuke left without a word to Sakura. Soon as he stepped out the classroom, he was surrounded by girls who wanted him to eat their lunches they made for him. Sakura looked him walk. I was one of them. Soon they will see, my mistake. He's nothing but a horrible, mean, cold, rude, stupid, begins banging her notebook on her desk. Cruel. She stops. Cute, beautiful human being that wants to protect the people he loves. She sniffed and her eyes started watering. I missed my only chance to be with him. My only chance for happiness. I pushed him away and he's so sensitive. How can I get him to come back? I ruined everything. Everything. Iruka was gone and the class was empty except for her and Neji. He tapped her on her shoulder startling her. Wah. She's caked. Oh, it's just you Neji. Her lip trembled. I pushed him away. I ruined everything. She whimpered and started to cry. Neji didn't say anything. He embraced her into a hug as she cried on him. He held her close, both of them holding each other for more than 10 minutes. Is that what you wanted to talk about? Neji fondly said gently as usual. Well, I don't know anymore. Sakura saw wiping her tears still in his arms. She laid her head on his chest. Sasuke and Itachi are brothers. Neji was shocked but he didn't show it. Sasuke said to stay away from him. I can't. I want to know more about Itachi, so I argued with him. He wanted to protect him until. Neji let her go. Until what? He asked, rubbing her arms to make her feel secure. Until I told him I liked Itachi. I thought I saw some hurt in his eyes. I was dead wrong. I ruined our only chance. Neji bowed his head to the ground. He said nothing. He had nothing to say. Nothing he would say would make things better. Sakura, remember the jacket. Did I give you your jacket back? She asked, changing the subject. Yes. This morning you did. Neji replied. I was wondering. He put his hand behind his head. He started to blush. What is it? Since you're smart and all. Can you help me in science? I'm not good at it. I was hoping. Sakura smiled. Yes, I'll help you. Great. You want to start now? At the library? Neji asked, hesitating. Why not? They both packed their things and headed out the door. What did you do to her, Sasuke? Ino asked loudly with Sasuke in a headlock. He showed no signs of pain. I don't know what you're talking about. He said. You know what I'm talking about. Ino screeched, squeezing him harder. Spill it, Uchiha. He sighed. I still have no idea what you're talking about. Ino looked to Naruto. It's your turn, fox boy. I'm going to find Sakura. Make sure he spills the beans. Ino said, running off. Naruto took out a stun gun. I'll make sure he does. Sasuke's eyes widened. Sakura giggled. Wow, I didn't know that happened. Neji nodded. It happened right then and there. I have no idea what they are talking about. They both laughed a bit. Sakura got back to the studies. Look, that's the crest of the wave, okay. Make sure you memorize that for the test. Right. Where's my pencil? They looked on the surface of the wood table. You think it's on the floor? They bought. H looked down on the floor and spotted it. It was right in the middle of the floor. I'll get it. They both said, reaching out, touching hands on the pencil. Sakura blushed. Neji did the same. Sorry. F for what? Neji asked patently. Chi touching your hand. Sakura said, leaning to him. You don't have to say sorry. He said, leaning, and then. Beep. I had no idea you guys loved me so much. Someone screamed. Neji and Sakura opened their eyes and found Ino. Ino. Sakura yelled. What are you doing here? Neji turned white. He beeped at Ino. Ew. They all got up and Ino sat on the table. Well, looky what we have here. Neji and Sakura beeping under the library table. Wait until I tell the others. We didn't beep. We beeped at you. Besides, you have no business here. Go away, pig. How can you say that? You're over here playing lovey-dovey with Neji while Sasuke's acting all out of character. Sakura burned with anger. I don't care about that boy. How can you say that? You love him. Look at how many years you have loved him. You just can't give him up. Yes, I can. The librarian came over. Please hush, children. You mind your own business. They both yelled. HMPH. The librarian huffed before leaving. You can't stop loving him, Sakura. What made you turn away from him? Neji. What's the problem? Tell me. I'm your friend. I worry about you, you know. Don't. Chairs came down. Don't you interfere. I don't need your help. Ino had a sick look on her face. A sick look of betrayal. Sakura ran from the scene, feeling the awkwardness. She ran outside to get fresh air. She wanted to scream out loud. But she had to hold it in. She had to be strong. Sitting on the steps of the school, she saw the cars pass by on the road. Feeling a sense of a presence, she turned. A tall, dark young man was behind her. Hey, Sasuke. Confusion and the Hanasome kidnapper. Sasuke-kun. Sakura mumbled as he advanced to her on the school steps. He looked so nice in his uniform. It was black, perfect for his dark attitude. Yeah, I am. What's wrong? I give you my protection and you. I'm sorry. Sakura bursted. She put her head on her knees, hiding her tears. I'm sorry. I want you to protect me. But somehow, I just can't believe that you offered it to me, so I decided not to believe it. I couldn't. Sasuke rubbed Sakura's back for a minute before speaking again. Don't worry about it. I won't protect you unless you want me to. I shouldn't have made you wait until now. It's my fault. So, you can be with whoever you want. Sakura looked up to Sasuke. Her eyes were a bit teary. Are you saying goodbye or something? It's about time that you give me up. I can't give you what you need. You need someone better than me. Sasuke admitted with a sigh. Sakura sobbed as Sasuke hugged her shoulders. Sakura was sad, but she felt like a ton of weight was lifted off her shoulders. It was nice to get it all off her chest. She didn't have to be one of those girls that had to beg for his attention. She didn't have to go home crying because of his attitude towards her. She could finally sleep with a clear head. And be able to enjoy the small things in life. Without him entering her mind. Sakura, are you okay? Hinata asked. They were on their way home from school. I am. Sakura said, pulling her hair back from the wind. Hinata looked even more worried. Are you sure? Hinata asked, before taking her turn to her house. Do you want to come over and talk? Sakura glanced at her before stopping. I guess you can know. Quote. Hinata's face lit up with delight. Good. They walked down the little dirt road surrounded by trees on both sides. It was a calm place. The birds were a little quiet than normal though. Sakura was enjoying the scenery until she heard a war call. Yeah, it sounded like a bunch of men screaming. Sakura jumped at the sound. Hinata giggled. Don't worry, it's just our clients working out. They usually stop around 8 p.m. You'll get used to it. She smiled at Sakura, who just smiled weakly. They got to a big red gate. You can't climb or jump over it. That's how tall it is. A man peered down at the two girls from the top of the gate. Then he disappeared. He screamed, Lady Hinata and a guest is here. Another man called. Sakura looked at all this productivity. She couldn't believe all this was happening for one girl to get in. Finally, after all the fuss, they were inside. The Hyuga home was an original Japanese mansion. Wooden floors with tatami mats in the rooms. It was beautiful. Sakura pulled off her shoes before she came in. Sakura, There is a couch over there you can sit in. Hinata pointed to the red leather couch inside the living room. She went into another room. Yes, Sakura stuttered looking around. She tried to make it over to the couch without tripping over something, but she was so busy staring at her surroundings that she tripped over the couch. What a ditz. Who can trip over a big couch? J.K. A big thump to the ground, she hit the floor on her stomach. OWW. She groaned on the ground. Sakura-chan, are you okay? Hinata called before running into the living room with a tray of tea. She put the tea down on a coffee table between the couches. Then helped her friend up. I'm okay. EY heard thumping coming from the outside hallway. The doors slid open to reveal a frightened Neji. What was that, Hinata? He asked breathless. Quote, have you no manners? We have a guest. She gestured to Sakura, who was now seated on the couch. Sakura blushed, clutching her bag, and waved. Hi Neji. He said nothing for a while. I'm sorry. He slowly bowed, backed away and sealed the door closed. Hinata made a worried face. Sakura, did you do anything to him to make him act the way he did? Sakura blushed deeper in guilt. No, of course not. Tell me. I see blush all over you. Hinata handed Sakura the tea. Sakura graciously took it. Well, I had a fight. She stopped. Disagreement with Sasuke-kun. And well, Neji lended me his shoulder. I don't want to say what I want to right now. I'm unsure of what I want. You love my cousin? Hinata asked, sipping the tea. Sakura put the tea on the table and sighed. I wish I knew. Sasuke just poured his heart to me in the hallway. Then I just blew him off. Sakura's lips trembled. Oh Hinata, she sobbed. Hinata saw her cue and sat next to Sakura and hugged her shoulders. Sakura continued. I blew him off. How will he ever come back? I don't know what to do. He's so sensitive on the inside. Sniff sniff. Hinata frowned. I don't know either, Sakura-chan. I'm not good at this. But I know one thing, Sakura. Sakura looked to Hinata. What is it, Hinata? She said between sobs. Hinata gave a proud smile. You be with the boy that accepts you for you. Next time you're around one of them, ask your heart, it will tell you. It told me. Sakura bursted out laughing. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. But it made the most sense. She stopped laughing. Thanks Hinata. You're so special. Oh, lucky you. Naruto is your man now. Hinata blushed and giggled. I guess. Now if only he would stay. I'm sure he will. They stopped for a pause. Hey Hinata, how about you? Ino and I have a big sleepover. That would be so fun. Sleepover. Right. You've never been to a sleepover. Hinata shook her head. Okay. Well, it's kinda like a party. But only for girls. Okay. Hinata nodded. That sounds like fun. This weekend? Sakura asked. Hinata was thinking for a minute. Yes. That's good. I don't have practice this weekend. I'll ask my parents. Yeah. High five. Sakura lifted her hand, waiting for a big smack, but Hinata just stared at her. You have a lot to learn, don't you? Hinata nodded. Thanks guys. Sakura yelled before leaving the Hyuga house. Hinata waved back. Neji didn't, of course. He was peering at Sakura through the window. Sakura saw him and blew a beep to him. He got startled and ran away from the window. It's getting dark. Sakura mumbled, walking down the dirt road. Up ahead she saw a pair of headlights. A car. She squinted her eyes to see who it was. She couldn't figure it out until she was beside the car. Automatically, before she passed the mysterious car, the window rolled down. Hey cutie. Sakura took a glance at the car. BMW. That voice. Itachi. She gasped. No other. Hop in. Sakura jumped back. You aren't going to kidnap me, are you? She asked uneasily. If I wanted to kidnap you, I would have snatched you by now. Now get in. It was kind of a hostile voice, but Sakura could see he was trying to be polite. Sakura gave up and got in the car. It was clean and the engine sounded nice from inside. The car's interior was black leather. She looked to Itachi, who began to back out of the Hyuga driveway. He was dressed in black, with you-know-what color shades. Itachi. She asked with her hands folded in her lap. What? He said, annoyed. Can I ask you something? What is it? Getting more annoyed. How do you know where I am and where my house is? She asked timidly. He gave out a sigh. The car rolled into the road and began to drive. Well, I know a lot about you. Where you live, your locker number and combination. Your classes, your friends. Don't worry, I won't hurt them or you. Sakura was surprised. How do you know all that? A little bird told me. He grinned evilly. Sakura huffed. Don't treat me like a baby. You tell me right now where you got this information from. Or what? I'll jump out of the car. Do it. Won't be my fault that you get mangled. Sakura pouted. HMPH. Just shut up and don't worry about where I get my information from. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Sakura stopped pouting and went to her regular expression. She twiddled the fingers in her lap looking outside the tinted window. She was content about getting a ride home, but she had a problem with who. You're going over the speed limit. She pointed out. Shut up, girl. I know that, he replied. He slowed to look at the houses carefully. Don't stay up too late studying, girl. He came to a complete stop. She opened her door, kinda pissed. Hey, my name is Sakura. Don't forget it, boy. He shook his pack of cigarettes. Right, Sakura. She beamed and nodded her head in approval. Thanks. Good night. I owe you one. She took off for the door. Come here. I know how you can make it up. He yelled softly, lighting his cig. He got out of the car. She came over to him smiling. Keep that smile on your face. That's it. Nah, that ain't it. He bent down and beeped her. They held the passionate moment for a while longer. He released her and leaned on his car, taking a long drag on his cig. Sakura went wide-eyed, blushing like crazy. What was that? A beep, Sakura. She touched her lips. Itachi beeped me. Wanna another one? He asked. She froze. Itachi laughed. You're something else, you know. I like you. How about me and you get a drink tomorrow? I'm not allowed to drink. Sakura said softly. We'll meet again, I suppose. He whispered, taking another long drag. He flicked the cig on the ground and stepped on it. No need to rush. I like to take things slow also. Later, cutie. He opened the car door and motioned for Sakura go to her door. She did as she was told and went into the dark house. Sakura's heart was still pounding. She turned on all the lights and put her book bag down. Mom, Dad, she noticed a note on the fridge. We are at your aunt's. Please take care of the house. Dinner's in the oven, sweetie. Mom, Dad, she growled. She flopped on the couch. After what happened, she wasn't really hungry. I had my first real beep, with a senior. Sasuke's brother, a gangster. Itachi. Sakura badly wanted to call Ino and blab everything. But news would get around school that they were going out. Then Itachi would probably try to ignore her. Sakura didn't want that. She kind of liked Itachi. His lips are so soft and warm. It's nice. A light blush filled her face and her heart began to pump again. Want to see him again. To feel his lips again. Maybe I can be his girlfriend. I like him. Her thoughts switched to her other side. He could take me shopping. And I can maybe use his car when I get my license. Or maybe he can get me into the club. I can brag to all my friends. He can beat up all those bullies. I will be untouchable in school. Maybe. Popular. Wah, I can be a popular girl. And if me and Itachi get really close, we can maybe show our love. She slapped herself. Nasty thoughts. Nasty thoughts. Bad Sakura. Bad. She lifted herself off the couch. Wow, she said out loud. This will be great. She stopped jumping around. But what about Neji's feelings? To be continued, and thank you for watching.